The midday sun hung calmly over the quiet hospital courtyard, but nothing about the moment felt peaceful. A strange tension floated in the warm air, the kind that makes the heart beat a little faster, as if the world is holding its breath. On a bench beneath a fading blue umbrella sat a couple, Marcus and Talia Rivers, wrapped in a helpless silence as they watched their 5-year-old son, Rowan, staring at the ground from his small wheelchair. His legs, once full of boundless energy, had gone still after a sudden nerve-related condition that arrived like a thief and stole the lightness from his childhood. Every therapy session, every medication, every hopeful whisper from specialists had led to the same heavy outcome. There was nothing left to try. And though the sun was bright, the world felt unbearably dim to them. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner. Your support keeps these meaningful stories alive. As the day moved gently forward, something unexpected emerged from the busy parking lot. A small barefoot girl, no older than 7, shuffled quietly toward the hospital doors. Her name was Mira, though no one there knew it yet. Her dress, once a soft yellow, had long been weathered into a dull beige, torn at the sleeves and stained with dust from countless nights spent on pavements and abandoned corners of the city. Her hair fell in tangled waves around her tired face, but her eyes, warm, searching, gentle, held a light that refused to be dimmed by the hardships carved into her young life. She carried nothing with her but an empty paper plate she had found near a street vendor's cart, clutching it as if it were something meaningful, something hopeful. The hospital receptionist tried to wave her away, but Mira simply moved with quiet persistence, stepping closer to where Rowan sat. Marcus instinctively rose, unsure whether to intervene, yet something about her expression held him back. It wasn't boldness or strangeness he saw in her, but a kind of sorrowful innocence that made it impossible to turn her away. Mira approached Rowan slowly, as though she feared even the smallest movement might frighten him. She looked directly into his eyes, something many adults avoided because they didn't know how to face a child in pain, and gently placed her small hand on his cheek. The touch was barely more than a whisper, but Rowan reacted as if a breeze had suddenly passed through him. Myra's fingers trembled slightly as she kept her hand there, her gaze softening with a compassion far beyond her years. Talia, watching from just a few feet away, felt tears gathering behind her eyes, not from fear, but from something she didn't yet understand. There was something undeniably pure in the way this fragile, overlooked child looked at her son, a look that carried no pity, no judgment, only a profound sense of connection. As Mira continued to stand beside Rowan, something began to shift in the air around them. Marcus felt it first, a stillness so complete it made him forget for a moment that he was standing outside a hospital. A calm warmth seemed to radiate from the quiet girl's presence, as though the sunlight itself had moved closer. Rowan blinked several times, his expression changing with a confusion that Talia hadn't seen in weeks. His small fingers twitched, just slightly, but enough to cause Talia to gasp and cover her mouth. Then, unbelievably, Rowan lifted his hand and placed it shakily over Myra's. No one spoke. No one breathed. The world felt suspended. It had been months since Rowan had been able to lift his arms with such control. Marcus rushed toward him, falling to his knees beside the wheelchair, overwhelmed by the impossible moment unfolding before his eyes. Talia stood frozen, tears spilling onto her trembling hands. Mira looked from Rowan to his parents with a timid uncertainty, as though she wasn't sure if she had done something wrong or something right. The next moments moved in a blur of disbelief and fragile hope. Rowan, with visible effort, shifted his other arm. Then his fingers curled. Then his wrist lifted. The doctors who were summoned ran test after test, measuring reflexes, nerve responses, and reactions that had previously been absent or severely weakened. The more they examined him, the more astonishing his progress became. It was as though Rowan's body had suddenly remembered how to wake up. Through all the commotion, Mira stood quietly in a corner, holding her plate the way a child clings to the last object they trust in the world. She didn't smile, didn't speak, didn't approach again. She simply watched Rowan with cautious hope, the kind of hope held by someone who had learned not to expect good things but had never stopped wishing for them. When the doctors finally stepped back in stunned silence, it became clear that Rowan's body had begun a recovery none of them could explain. They didn't call it a miracle, not officially, but everyone in that room, deep down, felt something sacred in what had happened. Marcus and Talia could hardly process the enormity of their gratitude. And when they turned to thank Mira, she stepped back, frightened, as though praise was something unfamiliar to her, something she didn't deserve. Talia knelt and wrapped her arms around the girl, feeling her frail shoulders beneath layers of dust and torn fabric. Mira stiffened at first, surprised by the sudden affection, but then slowly leaned into the embrace, her small body trembling from a mix of exhaustion and emotion. Marcus placed a gentle hand on the girl's back, and for a single, fleeting moment, the broken pieces of 3 lives, Myra's, Rowan's, and the parents', seemed to align in a way that felt impossibly meaningful. As the sun dipped slightly and the afternoon glow warmed the courtyard, Marcus and Talia made a decision they didn't have to speak aloud. Mira would not return to the streets that day. She would not spend another night cold and unseen. They took her home, offering her a meal, a bath, and a place to sleep. But more than that, they offered her belonging, something she had been denied for far too long. In the days that followed, Rowan's strength continued to grow. Therapists watched in awe as he regained abilities they had long feared lost. And Mira, though shy and quiet, slowly bloomed in the gentle warmth of a home that welcomed her. It wasn't long before she began to smile more, speak more, and move through the world with a sense of safety she had never known. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps us bring more true, inspiring stories to people who need hope. Before we end, we have a special request. Comment below what part of this story moved you the most, and why.